Now, it's bonus season in the city and controversy is never far behind. The biggest bank of all, Goldman Sachs, is considering delaying payouts until after April the 6th, when the top rate of income tax falls from 50 to 45%. Good news for the bankers, terrible for the public purse. In 2010, the practice of companies moving bonus payouts to reduce tax liabilities cost the government at least £16 billion when they brought in the 50% rate. Well, our business correspondent, Siobhan Kennedy, is here. So it's a legal tax dodge, is it?
Yes, that's what it looks like. It's all about basically keeping the bankers happy and letting the bankers have more of their bonus. Now, these bonuses at Goldman Sachs and at all the investment banks in the city are due to be paid now in January, and the rate is 50%. The idea that they're thinking about at Goldman Sachs is moving the payment of those taxes, of those bonuses rather, to April, when the rate falls to 45%. Now, that may not sound like a big drop, but if you consider a bonus of, let's say, £1 million, which is frankly a small bonus for a Goldman Sachs banker, we're talking about them saving an extra £50,000, more, a lot more than most people's annual salary, by having that bonus shifted from being paid now to being paid in April. Now, Goldman Sachs today told me that it's only a move that they are considering. They're not denying it, they're considering it. But we know that they've got form, because at the end of last year, a group of very highly paid Goldman Sachs bankers brought forward the payment of their bonuses when rates were going to go up in the US. So they've done it before, and it does seem likely they will do it again. And it's something that Labour here says will infuriate the public, that rather than going into the taxpayers' purse to help with schools and hospitals in a time of austerity, it's instead going into bankers' pockets. Here's what Labour told me today.
Well, we know that in the United States, Goldman Sachs took the opportunity of what was known as the fiscal cliff edge to bring forward some of their bonuses in order to avoid certain taxes. But here in the UK, I think the public would be absolutely appalled if that were replicated, if you ended up with bonuses being flipped over the tax year past the 6th of April, just because George Osborne and David Cameron have created this millionaires' windfall.
Well, what about the British banks and other big businesses? Are they all going to do the same thing?
Well, the British banks, let's deal with them first. They say, the two banks that are part-owned by the state, they say they are not looking at changing their behaviour. But there's a trick here, because while that's true, the first £2,000 of any bonus that goes to a Royal Bank of Scotland banker or a Lloyds banker, the two state-owned banks, the first £2,000 is paid in cash. The rest is deferred till June. So they will benefit very much. The bigger chunk that's deferred will benefit from this downgrade in the tax to 45%. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not pressure is put on these state-owned banks, precisely because they are state-owned banks, to perhaps cancel that bonus. You could argue they shouldn't be being paid bonuses anyway when they're about to get massive fines for manipulation of LIBOR, the interbank lending rate. Should those bonuses be cancelled, even potentially brought forward to January, when the full tax rate, the 50%, is liable? It'll be interesting to see if that pressure is applied, and we'll certainly be watching to see what the Chancellor does.
Siobhan Kennedy.